What's up, all my success students? We are on to project number 3. So normally this project we start playing with color, and when it comes to color we usually start playing with paint, but unfortunately we are not in my classroom. So we're gonna have to start playing with color by whichever means of color that you have in your house. That means if you have markers, you can use markers. If you have colored pencils, you can use colored pencils. Watercolor. If you want to do watercolor and have only markers, there's ways that you can do that. I will go ahead and post a video on how to turn your markers into watercolor if you want to do it that way. But this is the segment where we play with color. So we're going to start looking at color theory and how colors work together, like warm colors versus cold colors, complementary colors versus analogous colors. And we are eventually going to make a hard edge painting. Now, like I said, normally it's a painting, but if you have paint, you're welcome to use it, but it is not required for this assignment. So I'm going to go ahead and show you some examples of hard edge painting, and then I'm going to go ahead and show you what we're going to do for this project and get you started on it. Just make sure to put it inside your art portfolio when you're done, and just let me know via email. Mr. West, I'm done with my art project, the color project, and boom, I'll put it in there. All right, I'm going to switch over to my computer now so you can see some research and how this is going to work. I want you guys to get on your computers and look up hard edge painting. Just type in hard edge painting and let's check out to see what we got. I already did that, so I typed in hard edge painting and I clicked images, and it should bring you to a whole bunch of pictures of hard edge painting. So I'm going to shrink my head, and I'm going to start doing a little bit of scrolling. So essentially hard edge painting is abstract painting where you take simple geometric shapes, butt them up against each other, and then you create fields of color. Sometimes the fields of color will vibrate, and sometimes they'll work together. Colors that usually cooperate, colors that are analogous or next to each other in the color wheel. So let's go to a color wheel really quick, and we'll do some quick color theory. So colors that are across from each other, usually if you put those colors together, they vibrate. They're called complementary colors. They're opposites of one another. So if you put red next to green, blue next to orange, purple next to yellow, if you put them next to each other, they have a tendency to bounce off each other. They make each other vibrate. So if you see a hard red next to a really hard bright green, it almost makes your eyes hurt. But if you put colors next to each other, like let's say if you put a yellow next to an orange, it's a lot easier on the eyes. They seem to just blend and meld together. These are called analogous colors. So if you put like a blue next to like a sea blue, you're like, that's a lot more mellow on the eyes. You might not want that effect. You might want it to be a little bit more aggressive. Basic color theory is how to put colors together to get a desired effect. So if you want to get an effect of something bouncing and vibrating, you want to put complementary colors. But if you want to get something that's mellow and flows, you want to put analogous colors towards one another. So with this project, you're going to pick out 5 colors, 4 to 5 colors. 2 colors will be on one side, and the other colors will be on the other side. So like, let's take, for example, I pick orange, red, and red purple. Then I would pick out yellow and green. So you're going to create a color palette. A palette is choosing a few colors from a lot. So this is a lot of colors, and I'm only going to pick a few. You're not going to use every color in the color wheel. You're going to use a few. Here's a really good example of palettes. So that's a primary palette, an analogous palette, a secondary palette. So a palette's just picking out a few colors. Here's another one. So what you're going to do is you're going to pick out 3 analogous and then 2 on the opposite side, because you should have some blending and some vibrating. It gives it balance. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this color palette and we're going to start creating a hard edge painting. Hard edge paintings are usually pretty abstract. They kind of allude and make you think that it's something that we understand or something that we recognize. Like this looks like stairs. To me, this looks like braided hair. So in order to create our abstract shapes, what we're going to do is we're going to draw an observation drawing. An observation drawing is whenever you look at something and you draw it. It can be anything like a cup, your hand, your keys, remote control to an Xbox or a PlayStation, anything that you're looking at. I mean, anything, even a cell phone, anything that you just put in front of you and you look at it. I'm not looking for perfect drawings. What we're looking for are shapes that will break up the space. On top of this drawing, we're then going to start writing our name in big letters and small letters all over this picture that we drew to again block up the space. That means the letters can layer on top of each other. They can be big, they can be small, but usually we want to use block letters because we're trying to get a nice geometric, hard, straight line look. After we get done creating all our shapes, we're going to use some sort of color medium to start coloring in all the shapes. If you have paint, that would be optimal. But if you don't have paint, like if you have colored pencils or markers or even crayons, anything that produces color, that'll be fine. Okay, you can tell that this was clearly hand drawn by a student, and it looks like he used colored pencil because you can see the pencil marks in there. He drew the shapes out, and then the student began to fill in each individual shape with a single color. Whenever he got to this edge right here and right there, he made a nice hard edge. That's why it's called hard edge painting, because when this green touches this orange, they don't mix. It makes a hard edge. Where and how you choose to put down your colors, that's entirely up to you. But the fields must be solid. So it can't be like a dark green and then a lighter green, or it can't be like a dark green blending into a yellow. This whole area has to be that same color of green. This whole area has to be the same color of light green. This whole area has to be the same color of pink. You get the point. You're going to color in all these different areas or fields full of the same color. It should create a bunch of hard-edged shapes. And depending on how you put them down, they might vibrate, as in this warm colors contrast with cold colors. So this sticks out, while this one blends with the green because cold colors and cold colors blend. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what I'm talking about when I say an observation drawing, and then put your name on top of it. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and show you what I'm talking about when it comes to an observation drawing. So right off the bat, I have a screwdriver. So I'm going to put that screwdriver right there, and I'm just going to quickly draw it. Now I'm going to use my name and create block letters to continue breaking up the space into individual shapes. So my name is Dave, so I'm going to put the letter D. Alright, I now have my shapes. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to choose colors. They can be marker, paint, and you're going to start filling in the individual shapes with the colors. Don't pick every color inside the color wheel. Pick 4 to 5 colors. So I picked out purple, blue, green. I don't know, it's kind of like a sea green or celeste green. Then I picked out this really bright orange. That bright orange is going to pop right out of all these cold colors. So first I got to figure out which shapes do I want to just boldly pop out. My goal is to stay in the lines. I do not want to go over that line. See right there? I did a little bit, right there. But my goal is to stay in the lines. And then I want to make sure this whole field is the same color of orange. Now you might notice that whenever I overlap my marker, this orange is actually darker than that orange. And I want to make sure it's the same orange over the entire field, which is going to be kind of difficult with marker but I can try my best. Like it's a little darker right there than it is right there, which I personally find that quite annoying, but that's the way life goes. So then I'm going to go ahead and use this green. And then I'm going to keep on going, doing each individual shape until the entire thing is full of color. Let me know if you have any questions. Go ahead and text me and or email me if you are like confused or not really sure where to go. And I'll be more than happy to help you out with anything that you need. All right, I look forward to seeing your work, and have a good one.